Do people often compliment your analytical skills and logical thinking? Do you realize who the criminal is as soon as you open a new detective novel? Then you might love this challenge. So, ready, set, go. Number 1. A locked room. You have a storeroom in your house that can be locked with a special padlock. It gets closed without a key, but to open it, you have to use one. The only person who has the key is you, and there are no duplicates. You lock the door carefully every evening, but one day, a golden brooch that was stolen from the museum the day before is found lying in the middle of your storeroom. The police suspect that you're the thief because no one else has the key and you live alone. You know for sure that you're innocent, but then how did the brooch appear in the room? You have 10 seconds to clear yourself. While you were in the storeroom, the real criminal changed the padlock. You didn't need the key to close it, so you didn't realize it had been changed. Later, the thief opened the padlock with his own key and left the brooch inside the room. Number 2. Mysterious doors. You've been driving your car for hours, but eventually you admit that you've gotten lost. You're tired, thirsty, hungry, and have no money to buy anything. Suddenly, on the side of the road, you see 4 doors. Behind the first door, there's plenty of drinking water. The second door hides tons of tasty dishes. Behind the third door, there's a cozy hotel room with a comfortable bed. And if you open the fourth door, you'll see piles of money. Which door will you open first? The very first door you should open is your car door. Number 3. A werewolf mystery. Last night, during a full moon, several people disappeared in the city. Locals believe that the culprit was a werewolf, and you're invited to investigate this case. There are 3 suspects, Jack, Levi, and Luke, but all of them have alibis. Jack was walking with his girlfriend near the river. Levi was choosing a silver ring for himself in the mall. And Luke, who is a museum guard, had the night shift at work. You have just 10 seconds to learn the truth. Jack was walking under the full moon and didn't turn into a werewolf. Levi wasn't afraid to put on silver rings. The werewolf is Luke. Number 4. A big mistake. A famous criminal, Ben, was hired to steal important documents from a wealthy businessman. The man was in England at that time, and Ben had to take a flight from New York to London. There, he headed to the necessary hotel and bribed the receptionist to tell him where the businessman stayed. His room is on the 3rd floor, the first one on the right. When Ben reached the correct door, he knocked, but there was no answer. So he broke into the room and started to search for the documents. But soon, the man realized that it was the wrong room. How could that happen if the receptionist hadn't lied? In England, they call the first floor ground floor. It means that the businessman actually lived on the 4th floor. Number 5. A jailbreak. You've been captured and kept in a jail for several months. One day, you manage to open your cell and get out into the hall. There are 3 exits. A huge, vicious-looking man guards one of them. The second has angry dogs. And in front of the 3rd exit, there's a timer ticking down to an explosion in 5 minutes. Which exit will you choose? Wait until the explosion is over and get out through the 3rd exit. Number 6. A cursed house. Once a traveler heard about a cursed house. There lived a vampire and a beauty. And since rumor had it that the beauty was held in the house against her will, the man decided to help the girl. But when he was talking to her, he suddenly shouted, "The vampire is returning! We have to hide in the basement and lock the door!" And so they did. But in the morning, the traveler was already turned into a vampire. You have 10 seconds to figure out how the vampire got to him. The beauty was the vampire. Number 7. An escape plan. Some criminals took 3 bank workers and locked them in a basement with only one window high above. They decided that at least one of them had to escape and warn the police. The men stood on each other's shoulders, but the one on the top still couldn't reach the window. But then they changed one thing and one of them managed to escape. You have 10 seconds to understand what they did. The tallest of them climbed on the top, and since this man also had longer arms, he managed to reach the window. Number 8. A clever ticketing clerk. A tourist who didn't know English came up to the ticket counter at a New York subway station. One ticket cost 50 cents, and the man handed him $1. The ticketing clerk gave the tourist 2 tickets without even asking how many of them he wanted. How did she know? The tourist gave her 4 quarters, and she immediately realized that if he wanted just 1 ticket, he would have handed just 2 quarters. Number 9. Tomb Raider. You're an archaeologist exploring an ancient tomb in the jungle. But after several hours inside, you realize that you've gotten lost. Suddenly, you see 3 doors leading to the main hall. But there is a trap behind each of the doors. The first one leads to the room filled with tarantulas. Behind the second, there is a mechanism launching arrows several feet above the ground. And the third door hides a 100-foot drop-off. You have only 10 seconds to decide which door will lead to freedom. You should choose the door with the arrows behind it. Since they fly several feet above the ground, you can always crawl under them. Number 10. Witty Mind. One night, a bunch of thieves were stealing boxes with electronics from a warehouse and carrying them to their van when they heard a police car siren. But even though they didn't manage to avoid the police, they didn't get arrested. Why? They started to carry the boxes back into the warehouse, pretending to be a late-night delivery. Number 11. Garden Riddle. In the morning, you find several pieces of coal, a carrot, and a hat lying in your yard. You know that nobody could put these random objects there, so how did they turn up in the middle of your lawn? It was warm at night, and a snowman melted. Number 12. A safe elevator. You receive a message that says a violent and dangerous man is entering your office building, and you need to get out as soon as possible. You're rushing towards the elevator when both of them simultaneously open their doors, and in both of them, there's a suspicious-looking guy. Which elevator should you take? You have 10 seconds to save your life. You should jump into the second elevator because the dangerous man has just entered the building and can't be coming from upstairs. Number 13. A fly in the coffee. James came to a cafe to drink coffee, but when the waitress brought him a cup, the man found a fly in his drink. He called the waitress and told her to bring him another coffee. She did, but when James took a sip from the new cup, he got really angry and asked for the manager. He complained that the waitress had brought him the same coffee. How did he know? The new coffee was already sweet because James had previously put sugar into his first cup before finding the fly. Number 14. A safe place. Lucas lived in Paris, but he didn't like the Eiffel Tower. So every day, he ate his dinner in the only place where it couldn't be seen. What was this place? Lucas always had dinner in a cafe at the base of the tower. Number 15. A treasure chest. You found a chest filled with gold, but it's guarded by a monster dog. There are 3 keys on the floor: black, golden, and silver. Only one of them opens the chest, and you also have just one attempt to get the treasure. If you choose the wrong key, the dog will attack you. On the ground, there's a scribbled note: TJKHOEELYDEN. Which key will you pick? If you put the letters of the scribble in the correct order, you'll get the answer: the golden key. Uh-oh, Allie was missing for days when her husband Orson called the police to report it. Detective Wells arrived at the scene and found her purse buried in the garden. Inside, there was a note that read, "It's a sign, you're mine. I redesign your new life." The police had 3 suspects with unusual names: Orson, her husband; Ryan, her best friend; and Atlas, her brother. Who took Allie? It was Ryan. Almost all the words in the note rhyme with his name. While driving in a storm, John saw 3 people standing in the rain at the bus stop, but he only had 1 seat available in his car. Who gets the ride? His childhood friend, an old lady that looks like she's freezing, or his wife? John asked his childhood friend to drive the old lady to the hospital and then take the car back to his house, and John himself will wait for the bus with his wife. Mark is locked in a 30-foot tall cell with an earthen floor and a window near the ceiling. There's nothing else in his room but a shovel and a bed. The entrance is blocked with concrete. How can he get out? Mark can shovel the soil to the wall underneath the window and climb out. Detective Jones was called one day by Border Control about a suspicious pickup truck. Every day, the vehicle went back and forth between 2 countries with a large sack in the back of its truck bed. When the detective opened the sack, it was filled with sand. What was the driver smuggling? Trucks. A geography teacher vanished on the first day of school. When the police arrived, they suspected 4 people who claimed to have alibis. The landscaper was mowing the front lawn. The English teacher was giving students a surprise test. The principal was preparing for his welcoming speech. And the coach was meeting new students who wanted to join the football team. Who was lying? The English teacher. Of course! Students don't get surprise tests on the first day. Well, maybe not at this school. A crazy scientist took 10 people into his lab to check their intelligence. He gave everyone 2 pills and a glass of water. He told them, one pill is a placebo and the other is poison. Whichever you take, I'll take. But somehow everyone ended up unconscious after the trial except for the scientist. How did he do it? Both pills were placebo. The poison was in the water. Shane and Mia went to Japan for their honeymoon. Only Shane came back, and Mia's family called the best detective in town. What should be the detective's first move? Inspect Shane's suitcase. Inspect Shane's house. Call the travel agency Shane and Mia used. Call the agency to see how many return tickets Shane had booked. He's a suspect, and he shouldn't know the police are investigating him to avoid losing the evidence. Someone knocked on Amy's hotel room door. When she opened it, she saw a mysterious man. He apologized and said he'd mistaken Amy's room for his. When he left, Amy called the police. Why? Nobody knocks on the door of their own room. This is a technique used by people who want to break into someone's home. A worker was found unconscious near the entrance of an abandoned building. He has no memory of what happened, but seems to have fallen from the building. Detective Marks is assigned to this case, and he must figure out whether the worker fell or was pushed. He goes to the first floor, opens the window, and throws out a small rock. He does the same on the second floor and all the way to the top. When the detective comes back down, he's sure the worker was pushed. How does he know? He had to open windows on all floors to throw out rocks. This was an abandoned building, and someone closed the window right after pushing the worker. James ordered a coffee from his local bakery, put in some sugar, but then noticed a fly in his cup. He told the staff member, and they took back the coffee and brought him a new one. But when he got a sip, he got angry. Why? His new coffee was already sweetened. The staff member only removed the fly. Tom was walking in a snowy park at 10 p.m. when he got attacked from behind. He didn't see who knocked him out, and he immediately went to the police. The detectives questioned 4 suspects. Adam said he was at a suit fitting for his dinner later. Daniel said he was hosting a party at his place. Susan said she was working out before going to work. And Luke said he went to the park to get some cool photos of flying birds. One of them is lying. Who? It's Luke. It's next to impossible to see birds at night in winter. Right before the final soccer match, the team's goalkeeper went missing. The police arrived and they had 3 suspects from the rival team. Mike said he was signing autographs for his friends. Jake said he had broken his ankle and he was getting a massage. John was training at the gym before the match. The police immediately knew who did it. It was Jake. You don't get a massage when you break your ankle. A doctor walked into an unconscious patient's ward. There, he saw a nurse buttoning up her shirt. As soon as she noticed him, she exclaimed, "It's not what you think." The nurse isn't lying, but why was her shirt unbuttoned in the first place? She got locked out of the changing room and knew that the patient was unconscious, so she went to his ward to change into her uniform. Yeah, I believe her. A group of 6 friends decided to check out an abandoned house in their neighborhood. When they arrived, Mark, one of the group, warned his friends not to go in. But all of them ignored him and walked in anyway. Mark stayed outside, but his friends never came out. What did he see that stopped him from going into the house? There were footprints going in, but none coming out. Detective Stevenson is taken by some of his mean supervisors who want to test his intelligence. They put him in a room with 2 doors. One leads to freedom, while the other opens onto a bottomless pit. There are 2 guards, either responsible for one door. One of them always tells the truth, while the other always lies. Stevenson doesn't know who's the honest one, and he can only ask one question to one of them. What should the question be to save his life? If I ask the security guard next to you which door leads to freedom, what will he say? The honest guard will say that the liar will point to the dangerous door. The liar will point to that one too. No matter who Stevenson asks, he should pick the door neither of them will point at. Melissa is walking down a dark alley when she notices a dark figure following her. She walks into a restaurant and sits at a table. The mysterious figure does the same. Then she yawns and immediately knows she's got a stalker. How? When she looked up, the mysterious figure was also yawning. It means they had been watching her. The director of a large company was found unconscious in his office. The police showed up, saw the messy office, and realized that a fight had gone down. They went to his secretary and asked to see the list of visitors that day. Immediately, they knew who did it. How? The last visitor was the culprit. During the fight, the wall clock also stopped because it got hit. It showed the exact time the last appointment took place. Sarah wanted to get some money from her brother for a house. She couldn't tell him the truth and asked him for an expensive gift. After a week, her brother gave her a glamorous tiara. Then she went to her second brother, asked for money, but he gave her jewelry. Still, she's got both money and jewelry. How is it possible? She asked for a similar jewelry item and sold one of them. Susie went on a dating website and found 3 guys that she liked, all with some very impressive backgrounds. But only one of them is telling the truth. Can you guess which one? Shane said he was an astronaut. He went to Mars and enjoyed a beautiful sunset. Chris said he was a scientist and went to the North Pole. He enjoyed being on floating ice and seeing both Arctic foxes and penguins. Dylan said he was a pilot, and once he flew his helicopter so fast he broke the sound barrier. Shane is telling the truth. The sunset on Mars is blue. There are no penguins in the North Pole, and helicopters can't travel faster than the speed of sound. Oh, and yes, we'll also ignore the fact that no one's been to Mars yet. Susie also thinks Shane has beautiful eyes, so who are we to disrupt this love connection?
Anna runs a chocolate factory. She offers all her clients a special deal. Anyone can exchange 5 chocolate wrappers for 1 chocolate bar. Robert spent 2 weeks collecting the wrappers and managed to find 77.
Yeah!
Can you tell what maximum number of chocolates he can get from Anna? Robert can get a total of 19 chocolates. Here's how it works. First of all, 77 wrappers can be exchanged for 15 chocolates with 2 wrappers left. After unwrapping the new 15 chocolate bars, Robert will be able to exchange 15 wrappers for 3 more chocolates. Now he can use the remaining 2 wrappers and the new 3 wrappers to get 1 chocolate bar. 15 plus 3 plus 1 equals 19.
Oh, yeah.
Henry is an astronaut from Earth. He landed his spaceship on another planet in an unknown galaxy and began to explore the city and its citizens. Very soon, Henry felt a desperate need to go to the restroom, but when he saw these 2 doors leading to the ladies' and gentlemen's bathrooms, he got really confused. The problem is that Harry doesn't speak the local language, and he can't ask which door is for men and which is for women. Thankfully, he met a local guy, Mo, who could understand English. But he can speak only his native language. What 2 questions should Henry ask to figure out the right door? He should point at one of the doors and ask, "Is this the men's restroom?" Then he needs to remember Mo's reply and ask, "Am I a man?" If Mo says the same word, then the restroom Henry is pointing at must be for men. And if Mo says a different word, the restroom is for women. There were 9 candies in a box. 9 people took 9 candies, but 1 candy is still in the box. How can it be possible? It's pretty simple. The last person took a candy and the box. This way, 1 candy remained in the box. On a cold night, 4 friends were roaming around the neighborhood. At one point, they tried to get under one umbrella, but the umbrella was too small. However, all 4 of them managed to stay dry. How can that be possible? It's possible because it wasn't raining. Meet Erica and Jim. Do you have any idea why he pushed her? Because they're shooting a movie. Do you see that cameraman reflected in the window? Billy organized a betting game for his friends. According to the rules, he will place 2 candies, 1 yellow and 1 red, in a dark box. If the player picks the red candy, they will get $5,000. But if they pick the yellow candy, they will have to pay $500. Unfortunately, Billy's a liar. He put 2 yellow candies in the box instead of 1 yellow and 1 red. Billy's friend Wendy watched the players losing the game one by one. But when it was Wendy's turn, she won $5,000. How did she do it? She picked a candy and, without showing it to anyone, ate it. Then she picked the remaining candy, which was yellow, and showed it to everyone. Billy had to admit that the first candy had been red. Otherwise, everyone would find out he was a liar. Nina went speed dating and met 3 handsome guys. The next day, each of the guys asked her out. Can you help Nina make the best choice? Brad didn't even ask the girl if she wanted to go to the restaurant or not. Besides, he's pretty rude and bossy. She barely knows Rob. It's not safe to go to his place alone, so Nina should choose David. He looks nice and polite.
Hello.
Amy has 2 strings. The only thing she can say for sure is that when you light one end of either string, it takes exactly 1 hour to burn. Can you help Amy measure 45 minutes with the help of the strings? She should light both ends of the first string and one end of the second string. In 30 minutes, the first string will have burned completely. To measure the remaining 15 minutes, she should light the second end of the second string. When it's fully burned, we'll know for sure that 45 minutes have passed. Adam is a famous opera singer. He's going to perform for the king and queen for 7 days in a row. In return for his work, they should pay him 1/7 of a gold bar per day. Adam doesn't accept prepayments. He requires a daily payment, which is 1/7 of a gold bar. What's the fewest number of cuts they should make to be able to pay Adam each day? Just 2. Here's how it works. Day 1, cut 1/7 of the gold bar and give it to Adam. Day 2, cut 2/7 of the gold bar and give this piece to Adam. He'll give you 1/7 of the bar back. Day 3, give the singer the 1/7 piece you received the previous day. Day 4, give Adam 4/7 of the gold bar and he will give you the 1/7 and 2/7 pieces as change. Day 5, give Adam the 1/7 part of the bar. Day 6, give him the 2/7 piece and get the 1/7 one as change. And finally, Day 7, give Adam his final 1/7 piece of the gold bar. Jenny and Sam arrived at a picturesque campground. They had to set up a tent. There were 3 good spots: in the forest, in the field, and near the lake. Which place should they opt for? The best option is to choose the field. Wild animals live in the forest. As for the lake, look, a zombie is hiding in the bushes over there. Probably not the best neighbor. George was walking down the street. Suddenly, a wizard popped out of nowhere and teleported George to his castle. He offered the guy to choose between these 3 doors. There's a hungry tiger behind the first door. There's an angry dinosaur behind the second door. And the room behind the third door is filled with toxic gas. Which door should George choose? The second one. Dinosaurs went extinct millions of years ago. Jerry has an apple tree. The number of apples on his tree doubles every week. After 30 weeks, the tree is completely covered with fruit. Can you guess how many weeks the tree needs to get half covered with oranges? Oranges don't grow on apple trees, but if I asked you about apples, the answer would be 29 weeks. Because, as we know, the number of apples doubles every week. In the ocean, there's an island. On the island, there's a house. In the middle of the house, there's a glass of water. Inside the glass of water, there's a coin. What's in the middle of the ocean? The correct answer is simple, the letter E. Harry went to a party. He liked these 4 ladies. He wanted to talk to one of them. Which one should he choose? Take a look at the first lady's hand. She's a zombie. The second lady has a vampire bite on her neck. She can turn into a vampire any minute and ruin the date. And the fourth lady is a ghost. So Harry should go and talk to the third lady.
Hello.
Detective Thomas received a call from Holly. She said, "Please come over. I got robbed. It happened so fast. I left my purse in the backseat of the car. When I stopped at the traffic light, someone opened the door and snatched my purse." Detective Thomas hit the road and rushed to the crime scene. But when he saw Holly, he realized that she was a liar right away. How? Holly has a 2-door car. How could a thief steal something from the back seat? There are 3 houses. One of the houses seems very weird. Can you tell which one of them looks suspicious? Look at the footprints. They lead to and from houses 1 and 3, so people come and go from those houses. As for the second house, the footprints only lead in one direction, inside. People come in, but they never go out. Take a look at this messy floor. Can you count the number of laptops that you can charge with the help of these extension leads? The cord of extension lead 3 is torn. As for the second lead, one of its outlets is broken. Extension lead 4 has only one outlet, which makes the entire thing pretty useless. And extension lead 6 doesn't have any cable at all. Now let's see what we can do about it. Connect extension lead 1 to the wall outlet. Then connect extension lead 2 to extension lead 1. This way, you can use 2 outlets from the first extension lead to charge 2 laptops. One outlet of extension lead 2 can be used to connect the 5th extension lead, and one of them is useless anyway. Now we can use 2 outlets from extension lead 2 and all 4 outlets of the 5th extension lead to charge 6 laptops. So the total number of outlets in use will be 8. Simple! Danny and Diana are spouses. They jog in the park every morning. To match every 2 steps Danny makes, Diana needs to take 3 steps. If both of them start with the right foot, how many steps would they make before their left feet are in the front at the same time? They'll never reach that goal. Here's how it'll go. I'm a 5-letter word under you. Remove the first letter and I'm above you. Remove the second and I'm around you. Who am I? Well, have you managed to crack this riddle? It's a chair. Great job!
Alright, guess what? 6 riddles that only the brightest minds can crack. Purely logical thinking is hard to come by these days. Only a lucky few can solve a problem just based on reasonable deduction. Are you among them? Let's find out with these tricky puzzles. Riddle number 1. You have a scale and 3 gold coins, one of which is fake. The fake coin weighs less than the other 2. How can you determine which coin is the counterfeit? You have just 15 seconds to come up with the answer. All you need to do is put any 2 coins on the scale. If both of them weigh the same, then the third one's a fake. Did you get that? If so, nice job! Riddle number 2. A challenge for a chef. In order to win a culinary competition, a chef needs to cook 6 steaks within 15 minutes using only 1 frying pan. However, he can only fit 4 steaks in the pan at one time. So, how can he do it? Hey, what's cooking? The best way to solve this problem is to first put 4 steaks on the pan and fry them for 5 minutes. After that, flip 2 of them and substitute the other 2 with 2 fresh ones. After frying that group for 5 minutes, flip 2 steaks and replace the fully cooked steaks with 2 that are half ready from earlier. Fry those for 5 minutes and problem solved. Well done! Get it? Well done? I don't know about you, but I'm kind of flipping out about this. Riddle number 3. The worker's salary. A farmer hires a worker to build a well. He promises to pay him with gold every day. The worker says it'll take him 7 days and that he'll start on Monday. The farmer has a bar of gold, and he'd originally planned to saw off 1/7 of it every day. Yeah, I know it's incredible, a farmer sawing up his bar of gold, but just hang with me for now. Anyway, however, by some strange intervention or an oddly specific saw, he can only make 2 cuts. What can he do in order to pay the worker his promised daily salary? Take your time on this one. Alright, let's start by cutting the gold bar into 3 pieces. 1/7, 2/7, and 4/7. That's 2 cuts, right? Now, let's break down the payment process. On Monday, he should give the worker the 1/7 piece. On Tuesday, however, he can hand them the 2/7 piece and take away Monday's 1/7. On Wednesday, the farmer can return the 1/7 piece back to the worker again. Then on Thursday, he should pay him with the 4/7 piece and take back the 1/7 and 2/7. Are you still with me here? Woo! Now on Friday, he returns 1/7 again, only to take it back on Saturday and replace it with the 2/7 piece. And finally, on Sunday, the worker will earn back the 1/7 piece again. Phew! That was a lot of math and financial planning. Did you come up with the same answer? If not, leave your ideas in the comments below. Riddle number 4. Chickens and eggs. An old lady has 3 chickens that can lay 3 eggs in 3 days. One day she decides she needs more eggs, so she buys 12 more chickens. How many eggs will the old lady have in 15 days? You have 15 seconds to count. If you said 15, sorry, wrong number. If 3 chickens together put out 3 eggs in 3 days, that means 1 chicken lays 1 egg every 3 days. So in 15 days, 1 chicken will produce 5 eggs, which means 15 chickens will lay 75 eggs total. So what does that old lady need so many eggs for anyways? Oh, a bed and breakfast featuring omelets. Got it. Riddle number 5. The Princess and the Knights. Once upon a time, there lived a king who wanted to find a suitable husband for his daughter, so he arranged a knight tournament. The candidates had to endure a lot of challenges, and at the end, there were only 2 men left. In order to decide who would marry his daughter, the king ordered the knights to ride their horses to the lake. The one who got there last would get the princess. The knights mounted their horses and rode to the lake very slowly, since neither one of them wanted to be the first. Finally, after a week of riding at a snail's pace, they gave up, got off their horses, shook each other's hand, and decided to go home. But then, the princess came up to them and whispered something in their ear. The knights immediately jumped on their horses and rushed to the lake. What exactly did the princess say? She simply told the knights to switch horses. I guess it still counts if you get there first, but your horse gets there last. Smart thinking, princess. Riddle number 6. 3 doors. A boy was walking in the forest when he stumbled upon an abandoned cabin, and just like in the movies, he of course decided to enter it. Inside, the door slammed shut behind him. The place was pitch black, and when the boy tried the light switch, there was no electricity because, obviously. Then, he heard a voice tell him he could get out of the cabin through one of 3 doors. Behind the first door, there were thousands of venomous snakes that could kill him instantly. Behind the second door, there was an electric chair and an executioner who would also kill the boy immediately. Behind the third door, there was a lion that hadn't eaten for days. Can you help the boy out? You have 15 seconds to find an escape plan. Well, the solution is easier than you think. The boy should just take the door with the electric chair. The electricity in the cabin is out, remember? That's why the executioner won't be able to do a thing. Otherwise, he could push the executioner to the lion would eat the executioner, and he could bolt out that door too. Not really, I just made that up.